Hey folks, it's Kodey Stoffer with Playmakers Corner, here to tell you about Code Red Coaching. Competing in athletics means you've lifted the weights, you've watched film, and you've got the passion. Problem is, that's what everyone else in the state has done. Perfect your game by honing in on your mental performance with Code Red Coaching. Whether you are a team or an individual, Code Red Coaching has the tools to create mentally solid habits and set up you or your team for success. Find Code Red Coaching at coderedcoaching.com or call 720-979-1914 to learn more today. That's coderedcoaching.com or 720-979-1914 today. Now back to the show.
I'm Ty Barwind, class of 2023. I play O-line at Valor Christian High School, and you're listening to Playmakers Corner.
Howdy, y'all, and welcome back to the Playmakers Corner podcast. I am your host for this interview, Kodey Stoffer, and I am joined here today by a very special guest. If you would like to introduce yourself, where you're from, and where you've played football, we'd be honored to hear it.
My name's Ty Barwind, part of the class of 2023. I've been born and raised in Colorado, and I play for Valor Christian High School.
Yes, and thank you so much for coming on. And as a matter of fact, Ty here is our very first Valor player to interview. So thank you for doing that. And, I think that this year there's a lot to talk about in regards to Valor football. I'd say it was a very successful year. But before we talk about that, let's talk about you as an athlete and kind of, what sports mean to you for our audience. I think that this is something kind of unique that we do here at PMC, where we like to ask you, what is your favorite sports experience or memory while playing? This could be a championship game in football. This could be a rivalry game. This could be, there's some guys who are multi-sport athletes and they'll talk about a basketball game or whatever, but whatever sport or whatever memory gives you just that very, it brings up your vibe when you're thinking about sports and your career as an athlete here. What is that go-to for you?
Yeah, for me, it's not really one specific memory. I think it's just every night at Friday Night Lights, just walking out there and the crowd just cheering for you and all that, and just that the buzz in the air and just that feeling that you're with your brothers out there putting it all on the line just to, play the game we all love. So I think that's probably the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like that energy. And, as far as like that tight knit community that you have as a high school football player, that's something where you could look up in the stands and it's like, oh, that's so and so's parents and that's the neighbors and stuff like that. And I think that, that is just something that's not quite the same. And especially at a high school, it's one of those situations where those are guys that you've played with for potentially, all 4 years of high school, and you've moved up from freshman to JV, et cetera, et cetera. Or, if you grew up in the area, then those are some guys that you've played with versus college where, it's a Mod Podge group and it's very diverse, which is cool in its own way. But, there's, you're playing with all your buddies that, you'll go and eat school lunch with and have been for the past few years. So I think that you bring up some good points there. And I like that it's an overarching thing. It's every time it's that feeling, it's that electricity in the air. Yep. So I have a lot of respect for that. And I guess to try and get, well, at least in our experience, a lot of athletes also are sports fans. I'm assuming that you're a part of that crowd. And yep. So, we like to get to know what is like an inspirational moment from a sport that you've watched, whether it's a game that you saw live, a professional game, college game, or a high school game growing up, or maybe it's a game that you watched on TV that is just your favorite sport viewing experience or your favorite fan experience.
Yeah, no, definitely. Favorite fan experience is and kind of what motivated me to push was when the Broncos made their Super Bowl run in the 2015-2016 season. That was kind of just seeing that and seeing kind of where they came from and all that definitely kind of pushed me and kind of gave me the NFL dream like almost every kid playing football has.
I would have to agree that is one of my favorite sports memories as well. Watching Von Miller dominate, watch that roller coaster of a season, really, as far as, there was never a dull moment. They could never just straight up win. It was always a heart attack inducing game, but it was definitely a great ride. And I mean, like you said, you're Colorado born and raised, so it's good to hear that we have a Bronco fan in here, man. Because you'd be surprised at how many other non-Bronco fans end up on this show. And I'm like, why are you're Colorado born and raised? What do you mean you root for the Seahawks? What's that all about? So it's good to have a fellow Bronco fan on here. And, I'd say this season, this Valor Christian team, it made me an Eagle fan. I really liked, the grit and how much you guys tested yourselves. And, I was actually able to attend that opening game against Regis Jesuit. And obviously that didn't end the way that you wanted it to, but I think that it showed a huge difference in what this team was compared to last year, especially graduating so many seniors last year. But I think it showed that you guys are willing to hang in there and you guys are willing to learn from your mistakes. And I think that was so important to the deep run that you had, obviously, to state this year. And I guess looking kind of back compared to last year, what were some of the goals heading into this season? And what were, kind of the points of focus that you guys had, especially with the new coaching staff in tow, and what was that experience like heading into the season?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, definitely graduating 19 of the 22 starters, it definitely, and especially at their high caliber of football, it definitely was not easy to fill their shoes. And not having a coach for 3 to 4 months in the off season was really hard. Our strength coach, Darren Crine, he actually kind of just set up a schedule for us, and we all knew, all the seniors kind of met up and knew that we had to work super hard for it. So by the time Coach McGatlin came in and we started summer ball, I mean, we were hitting the ground running already, and it was tough. It was a grind for sure. It was a grind to fill those shoes and to know that we were playing our rivals' first game and that we wanted to make it back to that championship in December. I believe our seniors just bonded so much over the grind, and I think that's why we persevered through the start of the season, and that's why we made such a deep run into the playoffs and into the championship.
Yeah, no, I think that what you just brought up is such a unique experience just because, I mean, you guys had to be self-sustaining, essentially. I mean, you had the strength and conditioning coach, but the accountability fell on you, the player's shoulders, and that's such a unique experience. But I think you could tell that difference, now that you bring that up. I think that's very evident in your accountability on the field, how much fun it looked like y'all were having, at least compared to games that I caught last year. The energy seemed very strong. And I think that a lot of that does come from the camaraderie that you had of, y'all had each other. And that was basically it outside of, a few coaches that were still, remaining. So I want to just salute you guys on that and congratulate yourselves on a good season. And I guess what are some of your takeaways from this season? Because, I mean, like you said, you made that deep run to state. And I mean, it was a very good game at state, by the way, had the lead at a point and forced Cherry Creek's hand at switching quarterbacks and whatnot. But, definitely not the, 13-0 run that we typically see. But I think that this is a lot more storied in there. And I guess what were some of the lessons that you had to learn along the way in order to get to that state game?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we started off losing against our rivals first game, so that was definitely a heavy hit to all of us, especially the amount of work that we had to put in the off season and in the summer. And then going 2-2 at the start, there was no Valor team in history that had a losing record ever in their game after 5 games. So I mean, so that 5th game was a really important one for us, and we dug deeper than any of us thought we could at that point. And I guess just taking it out is that anything's really possible. I mean, whether you lose all your starters the previous year and you lose your head coach and you lose most of the coaching staff, that it's just a grind to get through it. And being able to do that and being able to do that self-sustaining, like you said, just on our own, I mean, taking that away is that the grind won't stop, but you know what the grind's like, and you can carry that on into football or any other areas for the rest of your life. So definitely being able to take away that from this season has been tremendous.
And not to mention that, the scheme that was brought in by McGatlin is one that asks a lot of y'all, the linemen here. And I guess with that in mind, I'm going to jump on over to kind of your game, man. Like you said, 19 out of 22 starters graduating, and some people need to step up, and you're obviously a part of that. We thought very highly of you here at the pod, with Simon's grade of an 84.9 and mine of an 84.2. You came out to an 84.55. And, on that episode, we talked about strengths, weaknesses, et cetera, areas of improvement. And I just kind of want to get your take on, what are some of the things that you took away? What was kind of your reaction to our evaluation of your film? And what was it, or what did it mean to you to come out number 3 on our class of 23 interior lineman here?
Yeah, no, it meant a lot to me, actually. Last year, I was projected to at least get in the rotation. I don't want to say starting, but at least get in the rotation of the 5 linemen last year, except an injury in the preseason scrimmage limited me for about 7 to 8 weeks. So I missed a lot of that time last year. So being able to come back and really prove myself to this team too was really important to me. Listening to the podcast, I think the grades were fair. I think you did hit on some of my strengths of where I can fly around, where I know what I'm doing, where I can gauge the field really well, and agility being the lowest for both your grades. I mean, I totally agree, and I totally agree that it's me just being going to be a freshman in college next year, and I just need to learn to work with my weight that I have. And I think once I do learn to work with it, that I can really use that to my advantage and become more agile and become faster. But yeah, no, I think I really did have a breakout season this year. Kind of had to prove to everyone that I was D1 caliber because no one's really seen me before. So being able to come out and doing that alongside Tanner Morley, Breck, Winston, and Ethan, I mean, we had such an amazing line this year and such a tight-knit group. To be able to do it along their sides, I mean, it was an incredible season. And I think all 4 of them really pushed me to my limits and made me the player that I am right now.
Hey, man, we love there's that camaraderie again, with the team and with those linemen. And, obviously, like you said, very talented group. And you guys were asked to do quite a bit. That McGatlin scheme, it's been around forever, and it's known for running the football and running it well. And you guys did a great job of doing that, and you did a great job, obviously, of stepping up and meeting that. So I'm glad that you were able to get some takeaways, and I'm glad that you felt it was accurate, for the most part. And we were just glad that we got around to watching the film and seeing just everything you did right, and especially the pole blocking. I mean, you were asked to really move quite a bit, and I think that even despite like you said, getting used to your size and getting a bit more agile, you're still able to pull off pole blocking by just being extremely smart. So I just want to salute that. And you kind of got a chance to talk about it a little bit, but I want to give you like your own pedestal here to talk about 2 to 3 qualities that you think separate you from other players, whether it's in the state of Colorado, in your region, or even across the country, just things that you think you kind of have an edge in, or things that you pride yourself on from your own perspective.
Yeah, for sure. I think the best quality that I have is knowing every position. I think you guys said it in your podcast. I mean, I did play every position. I played from left tackle to right tackle to right guard, left guard, and center. I mean, I've played it all. And even when I didn't play it, when I didn't play tackle and center this year, I knew exactly where everyone was going and what everyone needed to do. So being that guy on the line that kind of can explain or help out if they miss a play and know exactly what they're doing and being able to tell them exactly what they need to know, I think really sets me apart. And in that way, I kind of was the smart one on the line. And all my friends said it, but no, just being able to understand that. Secondly is just my footwork. Like you said, McGowan's offense is really run heavy offense, and we have our guards and tackles pulling everywhere, and being able to pull everywhere and being able to pull inside and outside and being able to get up to the second level. I think my footwork is has excelled over your average football player nowadays, just because of that offense and having to work it every day with my coach. And I mean, it's been a fun experience, and I'm glad I've done it.
And we like hearing that experience and, your perspective there. And yeah, just getting kind of your view of it. And, we echo that view a little bit. We had like a 3-star rating on your footwork basically. So, we agree that it's solid, and, the sky's the limit for you. Honestly, we think that, with your frame and with everything that you do right so far, that there are mountains that you could definitely reach, and we're excited to see those. But, before we transition to kind of the next level and what's that looking like so far, are there any players that you model your game after or that you aspire to play like, whether that be on the college or professional level of football?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, one that's definitely stood out, especially recently with the Super Bowl, is Jason Kelce. I think he's just a super smart dude that loves to run around and fly around and just hit someone. And that's kind of what I like to do. I like to fly around. I like to be smart about it, obviously. But I like to fly around. I like to hit someone. I like to know what's going on. So I definitely say that's kind of who I've modeled around this year, and hopefully I stick to through college.
Yeah, no, that's a great example here. And, I love watching Kelce on the field, and then he's also a pretty funny guy too. So, he's also entertaining in that sense. And I think that, it's funny that you mentioned Jason Kelce here because, coming out of high school, he was not the most touted prospect. He had to take a chance on himself and he had to bet on himself. And I think that, that in mind, obviously you received your first D1 offer recently, so congratulations on that. But I guess, how has the recruiting been, and what are some things that you've kind of learned along your journey? I mean, obviously you've collected a handful of offers here, and anything's possible. I mean, the Broncos drafted a D3 interior offensive lineman not even that long ago. But what are some things that you've kind of learned, and what is your experience or story with recruiting been?
Yeah, definitely missing junior year. I mean, junior year, I think everyone knows is huge for football recruiting, and being able to be on varsity junior year and get your film out there is really huge. So missing a lot of that opportunity, and using the film that I had a little bit of varsity film sophomore year and being able to push that out. I'm lucky I had that, but just taking away that I really pushed hard for a lot of schools, and I've gotten offers from D1, D2, D3, AI. So I've gotten them from all levels and from all over the country. So, I mean, just I had to push really, really hard. Not only this year playing football and getting film out, but just constantly messaging coaches and constantly sending them film from every week, and putting together tapes and doing whatever and sending out footwork or just one-on-ones or anything I can really get out there. I mean, I know my recruitment is coming to an end, and I'm going to make a decision hopefully pretty soon. But no, I mean, and for anyone out there that doesn't think they're good enough to go D1, D2, whatever the case may be, is to just keep pushing. It really is a grind, and sending videos like footwork and one-on-ones, it really gets your name out there, and that's the whole point of recruitment, is getting your name out there. And once your name is down on their board, then they'll start looking into you more, and just pushing and getting your name out there. I mean, huge turnaround for me, especially just pushing into that, because I almost gave up on recruitment just because of junior year. But yeah, just kept pushing, and it's worked out great.
Well, I can, for one, say I am super glad that you stayed up on it. And I think that, wherever you do decide to commit to, and we will eagerly await that announcement, wherever you do decide to go to is very lucky and fortunate. And I think that, you bring up a good point that, the pressure of that junior year is very, very high. I mean, if you look at the rest of our interior offensive lineman list, these guys were all 2 or maybe even 3-year starters. Obviously Josh Bates, he's been playing basically varsity since his sophomore year, so that helps how much film he has out. Same with Zelinskis getting in since his sophomore year, and these other guys around you. So I think it is really a testament to your work ethic and obviously your talent too, as far as being able to push and crack this list and get on people's radars. And it's never too late. Obviously, we like to, like you said, you got to work. We encourage that, but you also got to bet on yourself sometimes. And we here are so happy that you're taking that chance on yourself and you're wagering on yourself, because we do think that, talent wise, you're worth it. And, we're excited to see that announcement. And then I also just want to say, I think that obviously there's a lot of things to consider. And when you're talking about making, a footwork video or, this one-on-one video, you're used to playing football, but don't you wish someone told you that you were going to be a content creator as well, as far as recruiting goes?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy what you can put out there. And I mean, getting my brother to do it or my dad to film it or setting up drills or having my coach help me. I mean, it's surprising what coaches will actually look at. People think, oh, they need only varsity film and they only need these top 100 plays in the nation. That's the only way I'll get my name out there. I mean, if coaches see good footwork and they see potential at whatever level it is, I mean, they'll look into you more. And that's not guaranteeing anything. Obviously, you have to put in a lot of hard work to get to that point, and you will need film from varsity. But just getting your name out there with videos like that, I mean, that's how I did it, and I'm good on my recruiting process, and I'm happy with where I am.
Nice. And I guess, talking about your recruiting process specifically, and what are some things that you are personally looking for in a program, whether that's, on the athletic level from like the athletic program or the football program, or what are some things that are also factoring in maybe academic wise as well?
Yeah, no, since I started recruiting from sophomore year is when most of our high school students at Valor start their recruitment is I always put academics number one. I'm a very academic heavy guy, and I want to go to a good school, and I believe the schools that I'm looking at right now and that I have offers from are very, very good academic schools. I'm really happy with them. That's always been my number one priority. Number two has definitely been athletics, no matter the division or the level of competitiveness. I always wanted to go to a top school. Like Trinity and Wheaton, they're D3, but they're top D3, and I've been to their games, and they're really, really competitive, and they're really, really good programs. And being a lineman, like you said, the Broncos just drafted a D3 guy. I know some people they only want to go D1, and that's totally understandable, and that's their dream. But my dream is just to go play football at the next level and go play at the highest competitiveness that I can, and just grind at it. And I think that's just for everyone to know that no matter what level you are, you still can make it even further, and you can still get better, and you can still do amazing things. So, but yeah, that's kind of how I've always been, is academics number one and athletics number two.
And, it's fine if you don't know the answer to this question yet, because Lord knows I didn't know heading into college. But are there any areas of study that particularly interest you?
Yeah, so I would really like to go into finance or business, and that's why I've also have kind of stuck with Trinity and Wheaton, is both of those programs have really, really good business and finance programs. So I'm really happy with what I have right now.
Nice. It's always good to just have an idea, and it doesn't have to be super concrete, but it does help to at least be in the stratosphere of maybe where you want to go for sure.
Yeah.
And, obviously, like you said, you kind of hinted your recruiting's coming almost to a close here, and your name dropping, particularly Trinity and Wheaton. So, we will eagerly await whichever direction you go. Obviously, maybe you're going to throw us a curveball at the last second, but what are some goals that you have for heading into your freshman year of college, whether that's, academically, maybe like a GPA, or whether it's athletically, how soon you want to get on the field, or any accolades that you want to collect over the course of your college football career. What are some goals that you have heading into college athletics?
Yeah, for sure. Academic wise, I want to keep a 3.5 and above. I think it's a really, really tough goal, and I'm setting the bar high, but I needed to do that for myself, and I believe I can do it in college. It's going to be a grind, but I'm excited for it. Athletically, going in freshman year, I'm looking to suit up. I'm looking to be on the sideline with all those juniors and seniors that are starting, and even if I'm not starting, is being out there and understanding the game early on, so I can be prepared for it later in college. And kind of accolades that I want to gather over 4 years in college is not anything specific. I think it's just the goal of getting to that next year and doing my best to start and be the best I can be, and be the best lineman on the team, and pushing my other teammates to be better than me. But I don't think there's any really specific accolades that I'm reaching for.
No, and that's completely fair. And, I think that those are great goals to have. And yeah, no, I think that you got your head set straight here. And I think that, you have a very clear vision, regardless of, what you're looking for. And, I guess heading into, college, I'm feeling pretty good for you. And, as somebody who's been through college, I think that is, you have the right mindset, I think, as far as just how dedicated you are to the grind and how hard you're willing to work both off and on the field. So I am very excited for you. And, before we, get to the gratitude section of this episode, what would you say to, whether it's incoming high schoolers or whether it's, current student athletes on the high school level, what would you tell them? What is some wisdom you'd like to impart for this next generation listening to this episode, as far as, heading forward in the future with academics, athletics, and college football, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I've said it this entire interview, but the grind never stops, whether it's athletically or academically, or when you're past college and you're living your normal life. I mean, and especially for incoming high schoolers, it's never too early to start. I definitely wish, and I know plenty of people that definitely wish that they started earlier and they started taking things more serious earlier on, but it really is important to kind of understand and kind of set goals early on, even if they're super, super high bars. Sorry. Even if they're super, super high bars, just to reach for the stars, really. And I just hope that whoever listens to this really takes that to heart, and that they just do the best they can in whatever field they're in.
I think that I just want to echo that, and it's to the point where I'm like, man, if I could give a nickname to Ty here heading into college, I'd say the Grind Barwind here. I think that kind of rolls off the tongue pretty neat, and I think that if we get to see a pancake from you on a highlight reel on the next level, the Grind Barwind buries the defensive tackle into the ground. I'm always itching to try and be ahead of the curve on those nicknames. But who knows? I might already be behind the curve as far as what coaches or teammates call you. But I think that I think that oh, look at that, grind Barwind spelled like that too. Good touch, Gideon. I like that. For the listeners, it's Grynd, just like our guy Ty here. But now that we're getting towards the end of this interview, we think that you've talked about people helping you record, you've talked about your teammates and everything like that, and we just want to give a very specific time for you to personally thank everyone who's been a part of your journey. We here believe that it really does take a village here as far as becoming a great athlete, a great student athlete, what have you. So really just take all the time you need and feel free to thank anyone and everyone. And if you have trouble if you feel like you're missing someone out, I always just say and add and anyone else, who you are. That's what I always recommend to anybody who's a worry wart about that. But go ahead and just take all the time you need, Ty.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, definitely my family. My family's always been supportive of me. And like I said, my brother would help me film and my dad would help me with drills and all that. But especially my dad. My dad was my little league coach for as long as I can remember for every sport I played. He was always there. He was always supporting, always helping me. So a big shout out to him. Big shout out to Coach Hamilton and Coach Weiner, who are my O-line coaches, and Coach Vasquez, who are my O-line coaches throughout my high school career. They really helped me. They really helped me just become the lineman and the man who I am today. Big shout out to Miss Callie and Mr. Matt in our athletic training room, helping me through my injury, and Miss Gina Fick, who was my PT for after my surgery, who really helped me get back out on the field. And I mean, all my teammates and all my coaches, really. I mean, they were really the ones to push me, and the ones who made this senior year a memorable one, who made it really fun, and I'll never forget it. And I'll definitely hold on to this year and just remember how great it was. And obviously anyone else who has been in my life, it definitely does take a village to get to this point. And I'm just super, super blessed and super, super grateful for what I've had.
Awesome, man. I think that's a great segment. And, family, friends, teammates, coaches, that's always a solid rundown. And, I'm grateful for all of them too, for producing, a great player to watch on film and watch in person, having both those opportunities to see it go against. Gosh, unfortunately, I had to see Regis and Creek, which I know you guys didn't win those games, but still put on a great game in both of those. And then Coach V got to watch y'all's revenge game against Regis Jesuit, in which you collected a few highlights in that one too. So, we're very grateful for that support network that you have. And, we're very grateful for you taking time out of your day to go ahead and join us on the show here. And be sure to bug one of your teammates, Tanner Morley, as well. We'll be reaching out to him. And, we're also going to stay tuned on that Tub Eats as well. And we'll wait for the Ty Barwind influencer era on TikTok as well. But, before we hop off, what are some places that, the listeners can find you as far as social medias that they can follow you on and keep track of your career?
Yeah, Instagram's a huge one. Ty Barwind 44. Huge place to reach out, especially for any young guys who have questions. I'd love to help out. Definitely want to head in that coaching era in the future. So if any young guys out there are listening to this and they want help, just reach me on that. I'd be super excited to help. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome, Ty, and thank you so much once again for your time. And we're looking forward to seeing how the rest of your career goes, man.
Yeah, thank you.
And that was Ty Barwind, everyone, out of Valor Christian High School, our number 3 2023 interior offensive lineman here. We are very, very grateful for his joining of the show. And to hear more interviews like his, please be sure to find us anywhere you listen to podcasts, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor. And you can also go ahead and check out our YouTube, where we have been uploading episodes as well. That has been big time for us. So be sure to check us out on all of those. And, in the process, be sure to like, subscribe, or follow us on any of those so you get notifications for whenever our episodes come out. Or if you want a nice little graphic with all of those and see all the other things that we're kind of poking our heads into, be sure to find us on social media, whether that's at Playmaker Corner on Twitter or Playmakers Corner on Instagram and Facebook. And then if you like a little visual aid where you can see a clip here of Ty and his, plays and a little snippet of his breakdown, be sure to find us on TikTok at Playmakers Corner. And eventually we will be making our return to Twitch. So be sure to stay tuned for Playmakers Corner on Twitch. But I have been your host for this interview, Kodey Stauffer. And once again, just going to say big thank you to Ty here. And I will catch you on the flip. She